Okay, for this episode, we're gonna make a model. If you haven't seen the first video, here's a recap. Essentially, in the first video, we talked about the context of the project, the character bio of our tiny people, proposed locations, such as the ground floor and the third floor, and the building materials. So to have some clarity on the location of the borrower's habitat, on whether the location can benefit the borrower or not, we're gonna compare the two locations again. Going back to the previous video about the 3 criteria shown on screen, we'll be using that as our basis for establishing our location. For the ground floor, we could check the necessities and ventilation, but for privacy, that's a no. On the other hand, for the third floor, we could check privacy, but for the ventilation and necessity, both are on the maybe side. So overall, the winner is the ground floor location. I know I had presented a location study from the previous video, but I would be pointing out new points that weren't present from before. First, and the most obvious, is that there is a window behind the refrigerator, which can provide natural lighting from the rear. Second is the wind path, which comes from the lanai area, then circles around the kitchen, and exits either from the dirty kitchen or the garage. Next are the doorbell alarm and the electric control panel, which is located beside the refrigerator, which can serve as a warning for the borrowers or a hazard to them in the long run. Lastly, the refrigerator for the most part doesn't radiate heat due to its model and plating from behind. So now, here's the main highlight of the video. Today, we will start making the borrower's house, which should be simple, maybe. Also, from the previous video, we saw that there was a basket lying on top of the ref. So I thought, how can I incorporate the basket into my design? For the materials, I would be using cardboard, white cloth, walis ting-ting, and Sintra. The hardest part is always the beginning, because I really don't know where to start. So I just started cutting. I started making the diagonal walls by guesstimating it from the size of the basket. After that was done, I started making a small wall that would carry the diagonal wall. And as always, I was guessing the size of it. Next, I tried making the second level of the structure. But there was a problem, and that was that the structure kept falling, so I applied masking tape on the inside. After that, I realized that I needed to make a base inside the basket. So, I started guessing the size of the base again. Then I went back to the wall I made and made some openings and using tape to hold it still. So, here's a clip of my progress so far as I rotate the camera. Continuing my progress, I made an opening at the bottom of the diagonal wall to connect the bottom level. The next step was to make the staircase by removing the skin of the cardboard, then cutting it in between to create 2 sets. Then, I decided to cut some openings for the staircase. So here's another progress clip as we can see the bottom level and the second level. Now, starting with the third level of the structure, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think it through on how I could carry that level. Then on the spot, I realized that I needed a column. So I started making some columns. I also realized that the third base was just slipping, so I created wedges. Third progress report, as I show the stability of the structure and the interior works. For this, I just planned to create an opening to the third floor. The difficult part here was cutting 2 layers of cardboard with a dull blade. Also, I faced a roadblock like the opening was too small. For this part, I used the walis ting-ting as the framework for when I will apply the cloth that would cover the basket later. With the help of tape, I was able to curve the sticks to the planned shape. In this part, I tried covering the basket with cloth, but due to the weight of the cloth, I had to add support beams in the middle. Not knowing how long I should cut the cloth, I just guessed and hoped for the best. I used tape to hold the cloth in since the structure isn't finalized yet. The last part is creating the entrance. Similar to the idea of a drawbridge, I incorporated that to the model by cutting a curved-shaped entrance. The last touches is adding the string that will open and close the entrance. And here is the final product. It's not yet pinned down since it's not final yet, and I may make changes in the future. And here it is in action on top of the refrigerator. Next on the agenda is the drifter's house, which is kinda tricky because you have to factor in the harsh elements such as rain, sunlight, and wind. For the drifter's house, we would be taking an experimental approach on its form. For the materials, we will be using walis tingting, chipboard, paper bag, plastic, and masking tape. For the drifter's house, you'll just see me curving the sticks in this shape, followed by using pieces of plastic to hold its shape. So yeah, I gotta admit, this took hours to do this, but for your benefit, this took seconds, so enjoy. Using the pre-cut chipboard, I inserted the curved sticks inside it in an alternate manner. As you can see, I did some weight testing to see if the structure will hold, and so far it did. Next is, I cut the paper bag into two because I planned to cover the bottom layer and the top layer. There were some adjustments needed so that the interior skin would not compress so much, while at the same time the curved sticks could stay in place. So yeah, here's the final product so far. A core surrounded by sticks that serves as a buffer to the rain, a camouflage, and a support beam. And an interior with a reflective material. So here I am, setting up the model using laundry sticks. And here is the model. I know it's kinda late in the video, but might as well add. We will be talking about the material study. First is, we have the cardboard box with its solid features and brown color. Next is the walis tingting with its flexibility and can be used for the framework of the structure. Lastly, the white cloth, for it is a permeable material. Also, it can filter light in. So yeah, thanks for reaching at this point of the video. As usual, on screen is my designer's notebook, which shows my idea on how I created this concept. This video took a lot of preparation, from the editing and to the model making. Also, if I get 5 likes, I would create a behind the scenes video for the next week if I have time. So yeah, thanks for watching. Wait, what? Ano? Ano ginawa na aso?